So we'll be like Maryland. We'll live time backwards from 2:15 to 2 o'clock instead of the other way around. I was sitting here working on my thoughts and ideas for Sunday's sermon, which is good because I got so engrossed in it that I wasn't paying attention to the time. That's good because that means that deep thoughts will be shared. So I was thinking last night about my chat today. This is Friday, by the way. Hello, my name is Pastor Lou Kilgore. I am the pastor here at the High Mountain Presbyterian Church. And we are a congregation of people of, I think, some variety, although similar kind of life experience, similar kind of questioning hope and questioning faith seekers, I think, more than those who are so confident of what we found, but finding community together in that seeking process, guarding each one's dignity and pride, and walking together and sitting together, because I've been doing this chat now, I can't believe it, for how many weeks and how many times. And I use it as a way of modeling, I guess, and then reminding myself of the importance of taking stock, where I'm at. And I hope that I offer it as a way for you to take stock. Where are you at? How are you today? I don't know if you're involved in a ritual where you have to have your thermometer, your temperature taken, but every morning at 8 o'clock, about 10 minutes of 8, I sign on as supervising staff for the preschool daycare, which is in North Haledon, which is a ministry of the High Mountain Church. And when I go in, I offer my forehead. Here, scan me. Scan me. Tell me what my temperature is. I'm always curious. Sometimes my temperature is 97, sometimes 98.6, and I think, perfect. Like as if I have something to do with it. But of course, we're all watching for, is your temperature 100.3? That is out of the normal range. 100.4 is out of the normal range. And so, if you reach 100.4, the buzzer goes off, and you're kicked out. There's no buzzer. So every day, a temperature is scanned. And I think about this time, this chat, as a way of sort of taking a temperature. I was fascinated in the studies of the Old Testament in ancient times, in ancient cultures, when they didn't have videos, and they didn't have paper, and they didn't have writing. Life was a journey. Everything in life, the metaphor for their life was a journey from here to there. And mostly that's because they had to take a lot of journeys in their life. They had to walk. They had to walk sometimes 4 or 5 hours to get water. And then they had to walk 4 or 5 hours back. And the journey became the thing. The journeys were marked. In fact, along with, maybe you know this, along with the journey came a story. And so at the beginning of the journey, the oldest people who had been walking the journey for most of their lives would have that part of the journey to narrate. And they would tell the story of their family, of their tribe, of their people. And in order to really make sure that things stayed true, if you will, they would set down markers. They would set down a stone, usually. Sometimes they would walk past what are called stelas. In the wilderness, there were upright stone configurations. And so they would etch things into the stone as reminders of that part of the story. Therefore, things were written in stone. You've heard that phrase. And the stone was there as a reminder, marking their way. Having a chat with the pastor, listening and thinking yourself. You can't talk that side of the conversation with me, but a way of marking where we are. I always ask at least once in these conversations, how are you? How are you doing? How are you faring in this unnavigated time? Even if your life is fairly much the same, I know that you're listening and you're aware that it's not the same for a lot of people. And there are large groups of people who are trying to settle. They're trying to settle, but something has disrupted them. Something has changed their life, the place where they used to work. I was especially thinking about people who have worked for 10 or 15 years in restaurants. There's millions, they said, of restaurant workers who are just sort of hovering, waiting to know, well, where am I going to land? What's going to be my normal? I know you're aware of that. Even if it's not your life, I know you're aware. Children, are they going to be able to land safely in a school? Are we going to have to reinvent our life together again? As families, as communities? So much isn't known. So a pastor's chat. It's part of the journey. Let's etch something here. We're here now. We got video. Let's put something in video about how we are today. I have this observation. People that I love, that I have no criticism of, people that I have admired and do admire and respect, as I'm interacting with them where I can, on the telephone, in Zoom meetings, are displaying levels of anger. And I don't even care about what they're angry about. It comes to my mind because of the thing I started out with, where you stick your head out and have your temperature taken. I know the COVID virus brings with it a fever. That's its telltale sign, right? Sends off alarms in the body. The white blood cells have got to go to work, and the bell is ringing. The temperature goes up. The battle is on inside the body. But the consequences of this disease in the current time are causing a fever of a different kind. It doesn't show up on the scan. I think there ought to be the tech guy and I were looking for a product online which would help to facilitate some of what we do in worship. We were both saying, well, there's so many churches doing this, we ought to be able to find somebody that's invented this thing that we were looking for. And he thought, you know what, maybe it's my clue, maybe I should do it. I said, go for it. I think somebody should invent a fever scan that has nothing to do with your skin temperature or your body temperature, but a fever scan. How hot are you? How angry are you? How irritated are you? I have found in our culture, if it seems to be there's a shaming issue around admitting that you're angry. So a lot of people who are angry would rather prefer to call it, I'm just irritated, or I'm really irritated. I don't know, that's the socially acceptable way of being angry. Angry is not good. And I'm not part of that. I think there are times to be angry. Right? We read that in Ecclesiastes. There's a time for anger, and there's a time for peace. There's a time for everything. So in this chat today, in the stone that I am setting down, I don't have any kind of a omnipresent evaluator of all the humanity around me, but I am telling you, I've been alive for 65 years. And in my 65 years of time, I've never had experiences like I have right now. That people, peace-loving, fun-loving people, if I had an anger scanner, I scan it across their forehead and it goes red. Boom, red. I've had it. I'm angry. I don't want to hear anymore. I don't want to see anymore. I don't want to do anymore. I can talk about it today because today I'm not angry. I'm not talking about, don't ask me about yesterday. There were some things about yesterday that, and I don't know about tomorrow. But if we were traveling together, let's just imagine this metaphor. If we're all marching together from the village to the well, right? That's where we're going. And I was the person trying to record what the journey had been like. I'd be picking up a stone and get the guy to come over and etch into the stone. We're all pretty much angry. And then, I don't know, we'd drop the stone at some point to mark this on our, but we'd probably have an argument about which side of the path the stone should be on. And the journey might have to stop. It's 2020. It's July 17th. I think so. There's a comet that's visible at night, that's long tail. Stargazers and skygazers are very excited about seeing it, learning all about its uniqueness. There's a fire burning in the night as it is at least to our vision, circles the globe, but it's us that are spinning. There's a fire, several of them burning in us as people. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It may lead to good things. Anger sometimes can do that. It can get us up to go and do what we need to do. Just writing from the stone. Mark this day. Mark this time. It is an angry time. Is there good causes and bad causes of anger? I don't know. It's not my point today. It's an angry time. So, how are you doing? You want to add your name to the stone? We are angry. We're angry. We've had it. Sunday's service takes us to another parable of Jesus in the Gospels. It's the parable of Jesus told a story about a person who was planting a wheat field, and he bought really good seed, and they had plowed the soil and they planted the seeds, and in the days after it rained and the seeds began to sprout, the workers on the farm were aware that what was coming up was not wheat exclusively. It was another kind of plant that also had a similar seed, but the seed was clearly different. But in its infancy, the plants looked the same. And the field workers, they could tell. So, I'm not going to tell you anymore. You have to tune into the sermon to hear how Jesus recommends that we live in a world that is full of thistle, and that we're seeking to move on in our productivity in life, but there's a lot that's holding us back. There's a lot that is sometimes, as I said last Sunday, choking us out. Always happens. I start to realize I'm running out of time, and then I realize that what's bubbling to the surface, what's coming up to the surface, is my prayer for today. What is my prayer for today? My prayer is for angry people all over the world. People whose anger is righteous and people whose anger is unfounded and foolish. Just pray for angry people. Anger is not a good place to be for the person who's angry. So I pray for the angry people and for the angry sides of myself. That progress would be made, that we can find our way to be able to soon lay down a different stone and to mark this journey on this part of our path. And we could say the anger has subsided. And we could scan our heads with these miracle scanners that would tell us we're calming down. Oh God, hear the cries of the angry, frustrated, irritated, at the end of their rope people today. Let the fresh wind of new ideas and willingness to cooperate and belief in solutions blow through our world today. Do not let creativity die. Let it find its pathway in the middle of all the weeds to come and bring the great fruit of joy, of understanding and learning again into our lives. It's my prayer, from my lips to God's ears, as they used to say, but more than anything, from my heart for you to God's heart. Thanks for tuning in today. Sorry I was really late, but I think you'll forgive me. I hope you caught back and picked it up. It's been a rough week. There was a 15 minutes of total silence and got left up. Somebody thought I was just being profound. I turned the music on and the chairs were here. Whoop. No Pastor Lou. I deleted it. It wasn't an attempt to do, a statement. God bless you, my friends. I hope you have a great Saturday. I hope that wherever life is leading you right now, that you're able to put down some markers for yourself. Remember, we'll be back this way again. God bless you.